Um, Jambo, karibu sana everyone. My name's John Wanaina Karanja. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Melanin Solar, as well as BitHub Africa, where we're building a distributed energy platform on top of blockchain. Uh, my presentation for the Black Blockchain Summit for this year is on driving sustainable energy adoption in Black communities globally using blockchain technology. Just to give you some background on what we've done, BitHub Africa has been around since 2016 for about 7 years. And we've been sort of driving the adoption of Bitcoin technology across the African continent, leveraging meetups. And we've also been the co-hosts of the Black Blockchain Summit for the years 2018 to 2020. And I'm personally glad to see the summit going on with the new co-hosts as well. So we believe that the COVID-19 pandemic has created a dramatic shift in the way we perceive the digital world. And it's become more incumbent for us as a society, as a people, to leverage off technology to solve some of the key challenges that we've been having. And we all know that the past decade or so has seen Bitcoin increasingly being adopted across the world, and more notably in Africa for P2P transactions. So how I came across sort of working on this idea around distributed energy with a focus on solar was, I was working with Mr. Sinclair Skinner, who is also the co-host of the Black Blockchain Summit and co-founder of I Love Black People, and Bill Murray. And they were in 2017 deploying this platform in Zimbabwe, where they had people from the diaspora or from the United States funding activities in Zimbabwe. And one of the things that we came to notice was a lot of this funding was going to fund what we call solar water pumps, which were very interesting in an idea because you could see the connection between the need for funding, Bitcoin, because Bitcoin was the medium for funding, and the need to access to energy. So we decided to pursue the space and enter this industry with the goal of connecting 500,000 households on a distributed peer-to-peer energy market by the year 2025. So what is the challenge or the problem that we face across the world? We have in Africa, for example, 600 million people who do not have access to reliable power. And that forms about 17% of the world population, being in Africa as a whole. And this market is also a huge potential because it has a potential value of $2 trillion, with only $60 billion of the $2 trillion being captured in the market. The key challenge that we faced when we met the community of farmers and households is that they were getting access to solar on a debt-driven model, or what you call a lease agreements. And since they rely on seasonal incomes as being farmers, when they have a bad season, they're not able to make payments on time for those solar systems. And you find sometimes those solar systems being recalled by the companies, which leaves them having spent some of their hard-earned resources on acquiring these systems, and also not having access to those systems because they're not able to pay for the systems in full. So this is obviously a very big problem because without access to reliable energy, you cannot build a foundation of other economic activities and even social activities like education. So you find that in these households, the families use kerosene lamps, and sometimes they don't even have any sort of source of energy. So the children were not able to do their homework, and this forces them into sort of a circular problem of where they're not able to get a good education, so they're not able to get out of poverty. So we need a practical solution using today's technology to solve this problems of the past and the present. So how do we achieve this? We achieve this through a concept called cryptocurrency mining. And if you look at this article by the World Economic Forum, it explores how cryptocurrency mining could become a new phase of energy storage. We have kilotons of energy that falls on the world from the sun every day, and very little of that energy is captured. So what if we could use cryptocurrency mining or solar mining to capture this excess energy and store it in the form of digital tokens? At a large scale, that would be through Bitcoin mining, which has inherently in the past been done mostly in China and Europe and the United States, but is now beginning to diversify onto the African continent. And my colleague, Mr. Christian Kirkoba, has been able to do some advisory projects in the Congo for this. And we're seeing increased interest by large energy companies to tap into cryptocurrency mining as a way to store excess energy in the form of digital tokens. Melanin Solar takes this idea to the next level, where we're now trying to see how we can get the average household across the world, and we are focusing obviously on melanated communities, on Black communities where the problem is highest, to store this excess energy, which is abundant in many parts of the Caribbean, Africa, South America, Southeast Asia, in the form of digital tokens. And this is how we're going about it. So if you look at Bitcoin mining, for example, around the world, it currently uses 74% renewables in its energy mix. So it is a very efficient system for tapping into energy that would otherwise be wasted. And if you can store this energy, then it means you can store value, and you can store this resource and use this resource to fight the challenges we're having with adverse climate changes around the world, as well as obviously the lack of access to resources that are heavily abundant, like I mentioned before. We've seen, for example, that Bitcoin is increasingly being used as a settlement monetary network, and it moves money very efficiently, more so than the legacy financial system, which leverages huge brick and mortar resources. So if you think of any big city around the world, and there are many big cities here in the United States, the tallest buildings will always be banks or other financial institutions. And you can think about the huge resources they use in terms of brick and mortar, paper, just to conduct business. All this can be replaced by a digital settlement monetary network that is very pervasive and is well distributed around the world, and that communities and countries, governments, basically any institution or individual can leverage for their financial needs or for the financial movement of value. We are seeing also innovations around the Lightning Network, which is allowing for what we call the automated economy or the machine economy, where we'll have peer-to-peer payments not happening not only with humans, but with machines as well. You can think here of the Tesla self-driving cars. They will need to operate on a machine-driven digital currency than one that is more so human-driven. So we're seeing this shift into digital, and the energy sector is not being left behind. If you come closer back home in Africa, you can find the peer-to-peer market for remittance has grown heavily in the last year, especially due to the pandemic. We saw Nigerians move $500 million in cryptocurrency remittance in 2020, which was a huge jump from the previous years. And this means that people who were previously financially excluded can now participate into the mainstream economy, reducing challenges of poverty, crime, and even increasing their economic power to build sustainable ecosystems. Also, in the year 2020, the WIVE protocol was launched globally. The protocol has since been utilized in over 20 countries to date, whereby we have people leveraging CPU power. So this is power that, processing power that you find in normal computers, mobile phones, and using the same concept with Bitcoin at a large scale level, but now inside a smaller scale environment, like in a household, to mine cryptocurrencies using the Wave protocol. And this protocol, in particular in Kenya, where Melanin Solar ran its first pilot in a place called Singaraine, Kajiado County, we are able to demonstrate that the same model of solar mining or energy saving using digital tokens is possible at a household level and at an institutional level. So we were able to deploy the system into a dispensary, church, and school, where it has been operating for almost a year in terms of research and development. And the protocol itself has a 20-year proof of work mining schedule, where the vast majority of the 100 million tokens or rewards will be mined, ensuring the maximum distribution of solar microgrid ecosystems around the world. Encapsulated immutably in the Genesis block of the protocol by the protocol developers is the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 7, 9, 11, and 13, which talk about clean technology in energy, sustainable communities, like the one we're building in Singaraine, innovation and industry. We're talking about startups being built on top of this technology, and then climate action in terms of how can we harness the huge sustainable or renewable energy resources we have while decarbonizing the more pollutive energy resources such as coal and even diesel, and in the case of Africa, charcoal and kerosene as well. So the goal as a company, like I mentioned before, is to target key countries. Among them, we have Kenya, Rwanda, Nigeria, Ghana, DRC, Malawi, and Zambia, as well as the Caribbean region, where we're engaging with talks with solar vendors. And we want to reach between 500,000 and 700,000 existing solar sites, which are currently worth $60 billion, and build this 2 trillion peer-to-peer energy market, leveraging blockchain technology. Our solution is a smart box, which is deployed in these households next to the inverter and the solar meter. The smart box allows people to engage in digital energy storage, like I mentioned before, through cryptocurrency mining, peer-to-peer transactions, leveraging the Lightning Network, allowing people who produce energy to become, who consume energy previously, to become producers of energy. And we call them prosumers. And they're able, using mobile batteries, to create peer-to-peer markets in the villages where the trading of energy can be safer, because batteries are safer than, for example, kerosene, paraffin, and gas. And they can leverage off the Wave protocol for rewards, rewarding the adoption of solar and solar batteries, and use, of course, the Bitcoin network for traditional remittances, as we saw in Nigeria. So one of our objectives is to increase, through our education program, more miners across the world. We currently have about 50 active miners on a daily basis on the network globally. Increase the number of Lightning hubs. The Lightning hubs for Bitcoin are growing very dramatically across the world, and also train more engineers. So we have a program to train 2,000 engineers, and there's a picture of some of the engineers who deployed the Melanin solar system. You can see it there on the image on the right, bottom right, for testing in Kajiado, Kenya. And we want to train about 2,000 blockchain engineers in particular, who will be responsible for deploying these systems across the African continent initially. Yeah, so that's the end of my presentation today. You can learn more about the Wave protocol with a community of over 1,000 members around the world. Visit www.wave.io, at Wave.io on Twitter. And the Telegram group is t.me/Wave.io. For the blockchain engineering program, you can visit melanin.academy or BitHub Africa. And to reach out to me, you can contact Wanena Karanja at bithub.africa. So it's a pleasure being here, and I wish you great deliberations at the Black Blockchain Summit. Thank you.